Mantam Hanum regional manager and open your hand to yes so.
Dr. Dominica in Neka say no trese. Ononya for Solomon Asamoah ya bani echemu abreso wana Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund GIIF na waye penida no suboni tanse bi adebo papa no adwane akotena Senegal wa ama yebedi nasem.
Abayne mra ni for penny award no hwe atenten so Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominica Yene and e kasa chemu say Orura Kwabena Dubo ahian kan no ye Director General the National Signals Bureau ano sika denti aya chano no sika o pepe enso e wo dollars mu dollar o pepe enso na enam dwumadie bi so a afa ne nsase ye di enti mu nchemu ne enam so ma ne ba ye nyaa de be mamo.
Mambani jo mama na ekasa seketa se ne proye na fe tumi famroso eni kwa se enya jinabia ewo yamamu ntutuem
dom kuma na wo mrahye badwafie mo se Attorney General wo ya mana broso wo se aso wo ye di tumi na mana broso dodo ncheche ne se ye kotu amanfo fie ni ama apansam ene ne ekeka ho wo de tata abanda dan mu nkrofo no ya broso
ani sempi na nwumre Emmanuel Odro Kori abomoden wabo ne bede na wode asoma ye na nwumre ye de bom kase Promise 102.7 ne Promise Television ne so na yaba no na esuma aduru fie honum ne mantem honum emfiri ho paacho oje nkania papa ye de bobo monten so fie ne yam ane fie ne monten so garden num ne ade beboa pa sanso ana ye wo CCTV cameras and cables are we install here boama bambon some near makoye at the map electrical cables no pure copper 1.5 to 16 mm standing fan ceiling fan brand out pe boss by electricals at the nyina bia ba wo to aton oped yakọ ofie ana watran yem momodin na efre number is 0536 095966 0536 095966 esoya na waba promise ba waje ebibidro papa ya FD for nsase promise ba bibidro oba ni nyina ya de FD for aja to munko anti bidro ya o manfo eye no ni FD for ase yenom sajanwa eno na promise ba ya kwa kofa bie ya ye ton dia ma abofo so na dia sa ho nyarewa na ye de no ne man danso ne se ne border form ase ne ba bia be ko na bidro bia da unya bie titia bibidro ni ade oba promise ba benya be frɛ 0535 544681 0535 544681 eso Promise about obejo so be mo bidro papa of Atta Frimpong ni mitimi ni nuabia
Maame ye shaka se bona se ye hyase e de finfinfin mantam emugomo apoye krosini mu na ye hyase efre ye budumburam ne mpatamu omanfo ne no mani abre papa de wa hye ko gyan ahye de odi bia boni tie de odi bia kyekyere ni mu ne kon ne nsa de bia ba ne nan nyina te se de wo kom ne no mo kom senya enam koba o ma sam ne se asa obi pese wodi wo mawuo no wo mo kawa efo mo abeti asem ben ehwo ma ne bone san a wo mo se wo ma te se wo wura bia wo so wo yo ogoro o wiska asase ya ekes makoma kwadwunum ewo budumburam ho no so wa register ye ne dia enti obdan ye sisusu nyina oba bebubu agu no mo chema plot makoma kwa henu na ewom na suku adan be enan ewom community park eka ho na public toilet enso eka ho bia be kro no so ba bi o mo bodwa enso eka ho bi ni nyina wo so obebu agu esan se wa register plot ni nyina eya ne die nti o manfo ne nti o mo ho ase ba bia esa ye ka dia budumburam community na ankasa no papa no so ono nko abefa plot be ahanu na wa chekuro ni mu fa afafa
yeti yaren se bebe yet no asase na hoyi na obi ato atuaka mo akwa register woni dim until last week landlord fin na committee omo de pipa no batu ye nim pipa no kire se onipa na oto ni din Emmanuel Sam Brown or register as our 31st August 2021 but registered 50 acres into what I would say Budumbramo assassin Sunano as I way that you sure.
Planakasi who's a penny or most a penny more. See a kayan, but in Benifona and Saka see and die. Yes, by Abamla, papa, John Dramani Mahama. Yes, son is a homeless and the police pen is away, you know. Omblem
ehene na nakwadwo esel wababonte wo so mo do munim ho hwio enti omanfo ne nko omakomanto omo no mo nananom behwehwe mu akosi ase omo behwehwe so obi amebu nkrofo adan enwu
eye mi nana kodwesa otodo bi gumu abudu mu diku na mempenifo tufu hin omankrado na mpenfo a wo mechi kasa ne ate adwuma ne se woye na anadwe se woye no anopa yehu enti omama yete kasa nansia na yete kasa de obi si wa register wampa yakuma na yakuhu krata bi a ochede obi si wa register ho a ohini biara nsan na wa register so nya bandamuda no de yekọ yitu anamo yema lands commission fu baye survey na yekọ for proper search this ya bibi area yedko lands commission a yegudu a yetwon search report no ba ne hu nipa odi da man yamrasam na yetu na famra kwan lo ma aban nyina di da mamrase ti yegudu ade yehwehwe da madin nti yetwon lands commission report na se su report no ma yada yebada so ndama bebrere kodo ha kofu ye forgery wasan sign me document wabira me medafu ma me ye farm me payfo so wo
ya ko yanim na soafo ya wo hwa asetrem ye di ensam so Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection Dr. Agnes Namumulati wona ka Roma ma wonum entieti ne de dankrofo ano ya nkrofo kan se omu dane bia ho ma aban no ma aban ni sia ai ebe free wonum sa oni ano ntitu oni ade ebe tu onum ya de be ma afoforo ni ade wo so oponum chopa ensem bia etete se ya wonum betie ede afa ensem we hu no adwadifo nya botre na wonum enhwemu duro ansa no beje dia wonum age ede
for be when disaster comes like this na yo mukoko season Regional Minister Dikan aka omo fa so edi awie ankrofo niama sebio the other side of it omo agenda omo be fuele some propaganda and they will push it through the youth, they will push it through the women adia say kan obi ani a enye the time who be push your agenda. It is only insensitive people who will do that. And to mesremo, any information that comes to you now, where the information and sana won't be biasia. Thankfully, no, you have a regional minister who operates an open door policy. He is accessible by the people or to the people. He listens to everybody. You see, up to now, no, I've seen how he's interacting with almost everybody. What be now won't approach him and the team. No munye inchre asia mamu. Intimesremo. Let's focus on getting the fire quenched and then sitting down to see what we can do together to get the place.
Maslock. No, I was there to watch a pass a call befaso. Na wabua adwadifo ya na anu jabrani ama onum ehwaka obabua wonum
ye behye adwadifo ne den se enye si awie enti se de aka ne se ye behwe senia omo be sori na senia minister kan no maybe ye ntimi mfo omo nsi be gina na omo gina no efimfiti ase no but at least senia ye betimi aso omo nsem na omonso omo etimi ahya ase efi baabi na omo sign a building omo adwuma the assurance I want to give them is say enya ade a aban ba betena se ahwe omo ama omo nko omo ko through sa process ye best start with them say no omo ankasa omo betimi aye omo adwuma enti especially a man senior minister kan no we are with you through it mema ne mebunu no so we are with you through it sen there was a maslock ye bia senior beya monsa ebetimi asan akoma no biom no ye beboa na sa etimi abaso ye dase
yo enti maslock ba pani ya wa ba beda no Maame Abigail Elom Mensa nene ana ya also ya tibia free no yi
yeah to us wa consenfu from Mentifido Mantamu na ye ko regional manager Emma Ghana Water Limited ya wono Mentifido Mantamu ya Northern Region Ewura Steven Ami here Mensa eno wo che wo say illegal connection pa fansu ho wo ho ene omanfo ne ye boni bi ne ma bi omo ye ntina ma ensuo sam no omadwuma ye no ya ne ho den ma won pa 90,000 cubic meters ene was omunya enso omatimi nya 35,000 ekosi 38,000 cubic meters ene omunya e de ma omanfo nti se enso ba bia enti se de ne ma akoye no na omuni bibia se wo so omuchem enti omachem eastern corridor ene western corridor eastern corridor nyansuo na awotwe na yatum na western corridor so nyansuo na awotwe na yatum odin sami tu dwa bra na awotwe awieye na mpanifo atwasi ho ama ewiase nyina ensu papa nom eda.
Currently our best production is 38,000. It ranges between 35,000 to 38,000. But the current demand of tamale is about 90,000 cubic meters a day. So you see the deficit. So in order for us to be able to serve the people of tamale, we are doing water ration or supply management. What it means is that we give the eastern corridor for 7 days, then put the water to the western corridor also for 7 days. Our own people, our practices. Most people in tamale are doing illegal commercial. They will not allow the water to pass through their meters for us to even read the meters and get revenue to fix their problems. Again, even in distribution, when we try to do the rationing, they temper with our valves. When you have decided to send water to the eastern corridor, in the night, somebody will temper the valves and ship the water to the western corridor. So the impact as designed is not felt. So there's always like western water being shared by a lot of people. So the impact is not felt. And again, people are using inline pumps. These inline pumps are bought by the rich. They put it on our lines, and then they draw the little water that goes into an area, into their houses. So until those people get the water that they need, other people will not get. So you see that if the water is in a very one corridor, if in that neighborhood there are people using 9 pumps, the water goes to them, and the latter people will not get water even at all. And then we just that also disturbs us the road contractors. So they start doing road construction. The normal thing is to get us involved so that we show you where our pipelines are, and then you budget for the relocation of the pipeline.
Ora Steven, I'm here. Mensa, and then the attendance was so best. Timamufo no manfo say what was for the ba no more be redeem meters na said yes bu woman and yenyai.
And one other thing is that our interreaders are also being assaulted. If you are assaulted, so if the young man comes to your house to read and give you bills and threaten or you beat the person, next time you'll be afraid even to come to your neighborhood and the problems will compound. So we are appealing to the numbers of the neighborhood to help us. So these small things, that's our attitude. We minimize.
And so hono ma eni ayeti ye eyowura Steven ami here Mensa. Na so ho Alfred Jatosman, we assemblyman wo Bawa Barak. Ena ono so di tudwa chemu so obesra ban ene mpanimfo so what was the phone video omo de adwuma no akeki omo nsesa no.
We were told earlier in their offices that the machines they are using currently, some were bought in 1972. They are very Tamale metropolises and its environment. So that is actually why they brought us here, for us to appreciate their problem, so as to communicate to the general public to also get to understand what the problems are. Having come here, my appeal is to the authorities that be to come to the aid of Ghana Water Company in the northern region by way of replacing some of their water plants, get larger capacity plants so that the water can be processed in large quantities for the distribution of the entire municipality, Tamale Metro and Sandaru and its environment. Because as assemblymen, we are going water company, they are not getting water and they think that we are not getting. My area for one, Cognitive to be specific, when they ration the water and open it.
Orura Alfred Jato Osman, why assemblyman of Bawa Barak Abato Farium, Ewa Mentifi Domanta Neneyate.
Yamra me pimo achumangwa biaje TV group wa be de chire potam wa santimantemu a mumasia kwantrefo Orura Frank Dua Ajeman wana dia de srade to dwa se ankran kuhudu aku enhya aban ase ene aban no ankasa momode na omra meboa na eten wo chire mu a ba na otwe me santem nie ehum brani yetu ye amache bare ma efie makomako be se wa ha ene aduonum eso pa ye na suku adan ahodo ewo mu besi sa abre be na otwe me santem nie kire se ama humasuansem ayeden pa ati ama emofra ya wonum ekosuku ewo amache bare ne potem nti adawroma wo srese wo ma no mpanifo ne eku awdo yebetuma bibia fa woni manim ya ba beboa yemra yemeko wonum emwa
enframa boy ne de esusan so de abrem no ahadwen pa wo hwa mi schools no ye JHS ne primary schools ne nyina nchen se so apa nti asema ya sefim pa meno kasa se nkwala no ewofie efise so he inchense a pepa ne electric wire se go from ne ade a enye safe se nkwala no ebe o school nti ye guso ne mpanifo edi nkomo ehwe se mwa ye betimi de aboa na ni manimu ya yetimi asiesie ye school dan no matimi asan aba school asisi a meno kasa de nyenya ba bia ye hwese bia nkan sorry e wo ha ne bebie bia o mapono e de ama na kan kwala no atena no say minimum kasa de SDA preparatory school and ama dan ba akosanka ye JHS 3-4 no anka ye inform ngumu ntro ma de kakra nti me fa kwanya so na madam ase so mo bi sa dan de ama ye no so de just one classroom nti say la ne hiamwa yehiamwa akra bia mbetimi abaye mwa bia no ye nsa de nsa ye momra ma ye mwa ni
we ora Frank Dua Ajemani ya we ngumesu ya kwankyerefo a wo atwemanwa biaje tifi Frimpong abedi akire potemu asante mantemu osrese yamayo no mu na amache bare hum no ase ade pa
ensensama na wa bontense bambofo akwachi National Signals Bureau Director General ora kwabena edubu ahen no FS kabi honse nsama aba ma Attorney General ya wono ya abamra animfo ya wono asai oswafo hwe atentene ne so owura Dominic Ayini onimonyamfo wa friends ntwofo nhyiamu ya wa becheche nsenimu seye ya nsemu we ekọ so wo se Frampanimfo anasa bambofo frɛ owura yi nyina no na so ye ho no mo no se wo mo na ehwe ehu se nipa bonfo bi na mabefo kwan so ehu dwumadi ebe ye wo man ne bone ana dwumadi bi bekoso a wo mbetimi ya di bone a enti abefo kwan na so sika bi emfidie hu bi bibi a waso mokoto na mo di bedi dwuma Israel mema dwumakuo bi eye LLC Holdings Limited for wono mo kwasan ye no dwirimudie bi komu ya menteme ho ase bi mo sika no some dollars no pepenso $7 million enu nti no mo frɛ no anase mpanimfo ekofa no obechirechirem no watimi amomahu sika no se de ye baabi e faaye ene ho nsema no ma hwehwe mo ahu se contract no wo sign no opepon eda na to so aduasa emfie mpinu no aduonu emu eye 30th January 2020 and as our contract no nsem ekoso
Mr. Duboni was a co-signatory to the BNC's director's account at Fidelity Bank. While serving as director of BNC, however, he and his wife, Miss Angela Ejeboatin, registered a company on October 23rd, 2018, which they named, and listen carefully, BNC Communications Bureau Limited. It is important to note that the similarity between the names here, that is BNC, was designed, to engage in a criminal enterprise, which will unfold as I go further. For purposes of differentiation, we will call the private company private BNC and call Ghana Signal and National Security BNC the National BNC. Mr. Duboni, who is the head or who was the head of the BNC, and his wife are listed as directors of the private BNC. Okay, so they registered the company, and they, the two of them, together are the directors of the company, the two directors of the company. On October 26, 2018, the couple opened a corporate account for their private BNC at Universal Merchant Bank, UMB. According to the mandate on the account, either of the directors could sign checks and approve transactions on the account. In his capacity as director of the National BNC, Mr. Duboni on January 30th, 2020, signed a contract on behalf of the government of Ghana and the National Security Council on the one hand, and on the other hand, an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was for the purchase of a cyber defense system software at a price of $7 million United States of American dollars. Let us call this contract the GOG ISC contract. On February 6, 2020, Mr. Dubois then transferred an initial amount of 27,100,000 Ghana cedis.
Dominic Ayini, ya no ye abamre nim for penny or sayo so for her attention in some so. Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And watch church with the anam so into ray, your cofa no a yora a dubois here. No a Director General National Signals Bureau.
Nanya or Tressa Ura Solomon Asamoah. Or also the say, Wadi Hane, Senegal men no aqua sensu so post one po. Or mano. Ya denba koko to akudi no asem na owura Dominic Ayini ne nsantrofo asia mu no ase no no kire se owura Solomon Asamoah medical boni di abani etwa mu MPP abreso and ye Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund ya ye etwa nti afra no GIIF wona na epani ya na wotano wono nso so boye de bo no America dollar chop up dollar se wo pipi mienu $2 million bi ya samuka ya babeto dwaba na etwa mu na wonum keke kama yete yese ye be sky train e won kran ya na amanfo kuro bisa se na mo bema train akofa wiem woni eto mbofro tunu atwemo no mbegina he na atonto ankrofo kura de ya asresem kakra ne ade no bezisa abre sky train no amaso na ba amaso no se na hu sika ne hu sikatua ne ade so de ekoso ama $2 million ye kirem se na sky train no hu dwumadie bi na sky train nso antumi amaso ne no na Dr. Dominic Ayini wo to ansenso no kirem se omu ye hwehwemu kakra ko ye no makwa ko se owura Solomon Asamoah woni ye Professor Ameyakumfi ana wonum seye omu se board of directors no ema wonum ekoko yi sesika no ekoko tua ses kahunu ya ene aye kahunu o ma na nya mfa so obi amfiri munti owura Solomon Asamoah baabi obi ebedina asem no se bosumi wajefo no ne da na tosumienu na papa ne krai so otukwa akọ South Africa okọ South Africa afei onum di na chi di omani ka kan ya papa no akọ Senegal omu fra no a oso no onyama Ghana ne oye no onyama kira bosumi ensantem no wasi yo bosumi ensantem omu twan na so se bosumi ensanduru na so ama ombedi no asem na asem no ye ka no absence anu bi sa na be ko so oni won so asem ni yedi yenti ai.
In respect of SkyTrain, we can confirm that the $2 million was paid at the request of the chairman of the board of directors of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, that is GIIF, Prof. Ameyakumfi, and then and then the CEO, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, who is currently hiding in Senegal. We tracked him first and noticed that he was in South Africa. So he left Ghana somewhere around February 2nd, the 2nd of February, to South Africa. So we were monitoring him in South Africa. And then he left South Africa and is now in Senegal. When we contacted him, he told us that he will not come to Ghana until I think he didn't say April, 3 months from now. Okay, so he's giving us 3 months to come to Ghana, very much like Ken Oforiatta, right? It reminds me of Ken Oforiatta. So he says he will come to Ghana in 3 months. So we are patiently waiting for him. If he wants to be tried in absentia, that is his choice to make.
Enti omufra no was one the onyama Ghana. Jirabos odibosumi enso Senegal. Via kwani.
I will say ya twaka se bono so e dey amount higher promise 102.7 FM Promise TV so minority anadom kuma mo mra shebedwa fie mo nso kokwa pai omo say Attorney General Beni aden as arrest no say ya cheche nkrofo ni ekofu ntum from amanfo fie ni omo ni ememu no ya abro so dodo na nwanwa say abanda dan mu nkrofo so nko a na wodi edi omo na enedom kuma no omo friends ntwofo nhia mu ma second deputy minority whip Jerry Ahmed Shaibu na ntwofo ni di nkomo wodi nsam ni tudwa na ocheche mu ade besi say ye kaso obi ya attorney general wono na adwumati tu pa na se wode emremu afutusam ebema hwehwemu bi a ekoso bi legal counsel to investigative agencies no wode ebema wo mo na abekro no judiciary ne ye atemu adwumakuo no so no wobebo mo no mo de attention ne justice aye adwuma enso we de ni hore no mo maduru ha hwere no mo maduru ha hwere no mo maduru ha waka se we die ase na adwuma no wa ya ma na traso.
Attorney General is an officer of the court. His interest is to assist the court in dispensing justice when investigators bring their case and evidence. The posture of the new AG undermines this rule. He is no longer acting as an officer of the court, but is instead acting as someone who has conducted his own inquisition, determined guilt of a suspect, and is seeking to force his view or his views on the courts. The practice undermines the role of the Attorney General and undermines the administration of justice. All well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on it to an end and to end it now as we speak. We are asking that all well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on the Attorney General to put an end to this immediately. The Attorney General is not expected to start off by prejudicing an investigation and in his mind conducting an inquisition on suspects. Since when did we have an Attorney General who himself orders arrest, conducts investigations, and examines his own evidence to determine if a prima facie case is being documented or docketed against a suspect? This is highly improper and leads to bias right from the investigation process. Let the court decide the guilt or innocence of suspects. The new approach where the Attorney General seeks to convict political opponents in the court of public opinion before going to the court of competent jurisdiction is an abomination that should not be countenanced.
Ora Jerry Ahmed Shaib ya wono ye second deputy minority whip wo parliament wono ne yete nka no na osan to aso biom eden samu tudwa wo chemu say Dr. Ernest Addison ya no ye Bank of Ghana governor kom fa so kura ko ni fie no ne tia mra so kura de omokoye wo hono no na wo kan wo say asam de se bi ni adanse etwa bi ya adanse national security coordinator na akwa be pa Ernest Addison achew say o man nim say na nya mra kwan so.
Photographs circulating on social media clearly shows signs of destruction and ransacking, hardly the marks of a lawful and respectful operation. If indeed a court-issued warrant truly existed, why was it not presented to Dr. Addison before or during the raid? Why was brute force used to overpower his private security? Why was the CCTV camera dismantled and taken away? Transparency is a hallmark that ensures lawful enforcement. The failure to follow basic procedure cast doubt on the legality and intent of the operation. No amount of legal contortion or public relations spin can undo the facts. Dr. Addison's home was raided under highly questionable circumstances. If the actions were truly lawful and above board, why did the National Security Coordinator find it necessary to call and apologize to Dr. Addison via the phone of Mr. Richard Jakpa? If there was no wrongdoing with the conduct of the security officers, what exactly was the apology for? And perhaps more importantly, if that apology was authorized, is Mr. Jakpa being entirely honest about what transpired? Attempts to sanitize this action by claiming he had access to legal counsel does not.
Jerry Ahmed Shaibu ya wono ye deputy minority whip na yete ne nka the medical di acheche nsem ni mama mo no.
Mampani John Dramani Mahama enei Ghana Armed Forces Council wabo moten ya ene wapao woni a wonum ene ebehwe na wonum ada no na wonum aye council no gina tuko de ma wo man Ghana asrafo djuma no na wonjuma die no ase ya wonum so afena mu asaye adisi akantam ena mampani John Dramani Maame de ato no ani sa dawroma ade ba ko ehia pa se wo man yetimi hwe ne ebo ho ban ene edi kan keta asese se ye be ye free asetra ne abrabo mafi esubone ene brabone ne oni a onum fa tumi ma ne broso tumi mroso ye niema bia ose yehwe na yeyi ni nyina akwa efiri wo manga ne afra na ne yatra ye ba bibiara ene oto ansaso akirem se ka so ma bi ho ode a enye o man no ne kase ne tetrete ene emu enipa ya ahyemu ma ana akode ya wo man no ewo ne mum suban pa ya kanifo ewo manum onum eta no adie adidi wo man no anim na afi wonso agentete ese esom wo man no tete pa ya onum koje ondi ya adwuma ne akwasibro ni kind of professionalism eno na boa ema wo man ahoden yede ehuna no nti ogina no aka se adawroma Armed Forces Council umbo moten na supa brapa na oma bibia mu na homu mfa bibia nsiesie wada bibia nkata bibia so na umu emfantete pa enya adwuma na moa wo man no.
Distinguished members of the council, the strength of any military is built on the foundation of discipline, integrity, and ethical leadership. It is not just the weapons or the size of an army that define its effectiveness, but the character, morale, and professionalism of its personnel. Ghana has long prided itself on having one of the most disciplined and respected military forces in the world, and we must never take this for granted. As members of the Armed Forces Council, you must ensure that the highest standards of ethical conduct, transparency, and accountability are maintained within the ranks of our armed forces. Corruption, misconduct, and abuse of power must have no place in our military. Your leadership must inspire confidence, fairness, and trust, both within the armed forces and among the Ghanaian people. Strong military is one that earns the respect of its citizens through service, integrity, and unwavering dedication to duty.
Mampani John Dramani Mahama na yetini ni.
Yeah, the more Kwabenya Traditional Council, and another more Bejoku, your more Kwabenya. To Mampani John Dramani Mahama, Semu say Jata enim, and after my shepherd, your film Casama for no ask Bagben, and you say, O Mother Roma. Omumura mubi na atomic yes I say home menteme ho ase penchen sorry wo no omumra emekama bibia enaboko na asam ne sen ense twofo hia mu ye omofra ni ayi anakonte ya wodi kan ga agbola piam tumawe ne nsam odi tuudwa ya wo chemu nyina ne se kamia yes atomic energy for no ashada to asase ni bia ma banda dan mu nkrofo abem mpanifo bi atoto nsase wo ho no ma enkanya na kwan so no enya saa so na nka wo se eye enti amantinyu ahwo bi aba ho a wo sra ese mpanifo yi mra mu ni mani mu ya no mo be ma asundwe ni adwobre emra ho o makeka akra nsase ya ye ke o mampani dada akofo epreso ebenso eno wo dane ye edemani odai nto abusua ya wo ho so enwanwa sa atomic energy for no atonto ma banda dan mu nkrofo bi
released the same MPP government in 2008 that released the land with some of their officials who were then in office with President Kufuor, His Excellency, knowing that these portions of the land has been released, stayed on until they got power again in 2016 and ventured back into action and started taking these lands that have been given to Alodia owners. It is sad that as old as President Kufuor is now, becoming a president and being respected to that level, and then he leaves office to go and sit in the house, and then his own people turning around him and going back what could be considered as his most credible achievement within the Ghana state, and his own group of people turning around and going back and then looting on that same properties. It tells you their level of disrespect that they've shown against our Excellency President Kufuor. The next issue has to do with currently those at the Ghana Atomic Energy who are giving out indentures. I never knew Ghana Atomic Energy has been converted into Lands Commission.
Ni ayi ana konte ya wodi kan wono ye ga agolapiam tuma we wono ne yete ne nka no na akokọ dagbete ya otosu mi no se kwen mada ewo kwabenya na se ohema ewo ho so mo wogidie pa ewo mampani mahamamu se o mo ha wo mo di atudwe obesom no asisi amawo
ensha ebe 10 years aye di wo mo pinsu aye hu so mo ton ya de no etresa on beton first no pa yanu heya baby a market no wo yesi bet ya be ewo ama wo hu nti ye fans sikanti awon ka ya sase na aka nso a awon mobro wa e be fa no sa no no na e di ti aka sase no na makers asisi dai bebre wu kwakwan so a mbrosan wo be hu mu makers no sisi dai no me ko be sadu a asase 25 no si obema mi 2 million
na kokọ dogbate ya wo yakwe mada no hema wo kwabenya ono so ensam eno no
ya ko yanim ewon sem fufurum na wono nyafo say ne Alexander Kwam na Afenyo Markins ya wono na NPP amanyoku anase donkuma amrase dwafiem oda won ma no na odin sem bitu dwa no ochirim semre bi atwamu ade bi ndisi amanyoku no mpanifo yeye ne ntwa ye kura wose 2016 ye to abawie ya ndisi we ye ya onum akwa fie na AME Zion JHS school toilet school no aja na bia ya school mo frani a cherecherefo onum ayomu ye ewomu ya Professor John Evans Atamils ni si ye ewo efutu abato mbesua so na ndisi mpanifo atum mato aja na bia num adan ya party no awe abato no malusi nti wonum atum na ni nyina mu no na o kyerem se adawro ma wosre se avutu ngumesua akwankyerefo ne posi fo no ne badwaba assembly member onum omoten na onum entu ho anamo na onum emi agya na abia no emfa emasu Ghana kwai.
We've had some lamentation from the head teacher regarding the need for a public toilet. To my left is a 10-seater public toilet. But I share with you an unfortunate story behind this. A party activist took the keys to this public toilet because, according to him, when the facility was commissioned, the keys were handed over to him, and it was his party that was in power then. And for 8 years, when the MPP was in office,
Ononya for Alexander Afenyo Markins say inche wow jana bia ka say free 2016 basis abri atum NDC Lucy about 2016 basis abri
of ade bere nti ya
afia ko anim ko
ya demo ko mfimfi manta mo twifu ati mokwa mensi mu na twifu dome abra nyame anim no kurani sade omanfo nani abere no omo se chese ha adwea se obi wo twifu dome abra hono ma school a chese eya akase wo kakra betimi abo emu ahomeka no ewo eye twifu ati mokwa kuro no emu na sade hote twifu praso ene wo obekwa agisa watwa nsuo nti monhwe school for nkwala nkete no mototo kudu mu etwa nsuo mo se afi etwa mu no kra de afi ya imu no akra ba akodi chese kanu no ana akodi no kabutu ya ne se ohwere ne nkwa ya ekuafo so omo no ba ye nyina na aka nsuo eja omo ntimi mfama nti omo sre ekuaku ensha aban asese sa aban kra meye bibi mo omo a ekuaku ni hu omo mobo no mo meye bibi a ebe ye kwan bi sansamusuo sede ebetumi abo ma akobadi ho nsem omo ho ahare won
trebia oba ha kra na boys no ha ofo shamana kra na omo nto bo maire ofo shamana trebia kra na shamana am ndizano ya de ha ma ai students no mo river na chino e na ba ne se mbua o de maire na so obua e kakra
no se obi tom ne se wan share jacket a otuwu ana ohwe nenkwa enti en se last year ebisi wa ha nipa ni share life jacket anka In fact, me name says I don't know betunu esi enti so anu etasi pa enti abai on boy.
Ana say you say ya. Ya brepa intumi no bi obi kai. Why abai mo boy kakla. Nombre life jacket ana say bibi o de ble oba boy bia.
Abe body e banche eni koko nyina the friends we na chiba. Then so ye ne nhama kese wa. Ema senso ni twedu a nso ni ri aye blepa enye obi na dumu ya de nketenkete miene ye hawa ewo ye ho ano no nkola beble finso na chi be school oklom ha yes la ban se wo mo aye
we akuafo awofo ene school fo ya o mo wotwefo do me abra ena o mudi o musu to mpanimfo anim no hwe nkola nketenkete ntotofe wa na o mutetu kuduo mu ekɔ school no na ye to aso ye kɔ na ye ne Reverend Isaiah Chei atakora edi nkomo ye sofo a oda kwa medan so methodist asori ano na ye adwada idie eye dan a ye di nkomo na ye nkomo die no ekɔfa se ye kase wi ase obi a wo ne pe ene ne wo pe ya ewo se woye na ne nkomo ne ye tiawa ye bisa se epe bia na ye wonsunsan so woni papa so ana say papa na say yabone no nkomo ene ne sofu ebedie enti ene de nkomo ni begina Lucas empati dunum yimudu ba akokosi aduasa prodigal son no woje na japade nyina free ne papa nchen no okoye afede mprekwa aduane na no wodie no eno nkomo a eno no papa mpacha wote ka Christ na so medwe enkan
asudwe enkan so Maame Nyarko
na enka sofu maame nso
Chiawene promise radio any TV phone na
papa nti said ya kan say epekra de obi a wone pe obi a wone choice ya kan epe na nsunsuaso ya ewo so no ya si bi wie bone e bi wie papa ene ne ka ho nti ho nkomo nene ya meje fiu
ya na uradi ase sawa mai akonya fufu do ada fufu biu ene entapeka ya ka ho so no Abraham boy is full of choices. The beer that was sorry no pa. Who never me news when I was a uyibako. It I say, Master, you ready? And I'm ready. Sorry, and I'm sorry. Minina a choice, yeah. And I say, Gina pa, nipa. Usie ewo wabrabum na ene de ide ye hwe abrantie bi wo trosem mu a osi ginaye bi na ginaye no enwie no ye Bible no mu no ye hwe no the prodigal son the kano oba ohwini ana oba adesefo na abrantie no emeki choice bi abrantie no choice a o meki ene se na me papa wo ade japade no nka ni bremu no japade no be ba be yemi kila nanso abrantie no nya o train the verse 12 of Luke chapter 15 abrantie ko request ko bisa pane se wo ade mu yenu na de be yemi media ama de mame de ma abrantie tu sa na mo ni na se no person will not found here. The first choice I granted making was wrong. Say, or request a Japan Canada, now train Canada, as I Japan never about the area. Now, so I granted Kubisa, I say, one funny man. Or Kenya, the Japan, or some making another choice. Another choice I granted and say, or the Japan fee, let the fee for. And so what's now, Papa and Chain can you be guided? Papa never channel, choir, over Fasua, putting up with the Padian of Bank, Nanka, influence. Nanso, or pray, say, will be free, nega, if you. Another choice, blue, I granted the key and say, what the Sikana would I know. Obo ahohibra enti abrebia no nipa wo akwanya ahodo mmienu se wo be make choice ye papa ana se wo be make choice enye papa ya brate na age japade no o free na ja fie choice bio an say gina e bia o say si ene say what is kanu ko bo awhibra na ko bitumi di ana ye adwuma foforo ama sikanu bia ba be kan but of ye no what the bo awhibra chebei afutu a ye de ba ye ho enkanka ye mrantie ene ye maba wa no mpono a ene say ye wo akwanya to make decisions for ourselves. You are going to be making choices. But at the end, you be a who sin in manner. Get whom you know, then who say, Yabe in day, and for so the Baswama or Tina. Yabe in day, for so the Baswama doctrine. And Amoya be to day, and for so the Baswama or Tina, and I say, Nabeting. And then I may share the do social media, so I'm very happy. I did a trend here, and here, friend, Winning Red. Winning Red, no, Winning Red, Winning Red, Winning Red, Winning Red, in a tablet here. And I'm telling no chance that you will be a woman, dear, not all Tim Motor. That will crown with me for Tim Motor, but the one said that I feel not in and a Tim Motor, a good.
Therefore, I don't know, Jania, Ojina Falcon, or to turn that the copra, and she would know. And you know, when choices, and near media, at point beer, yes, fashion, beer, yes, or cinnamon, and wabram. Papa, and the infant say choice, no. My choose to be my making a choice. Moame, say the prodigal son, dear no. Young fat to whom. Thank you, sir.
Encourage, but I just say, Uma, when you bow, muscle. And if you share prodigal son, the Noah. Bible is in the knee ban and muscle. In any ban, also, one was the me and yet Messiah or Medan chain. And Mray, their tree and I dream eggs in a baby to say, Yama Nimraya Mosso. Mamma, for your need by a mosso, and yet easy, sir. It doesn't come by heart. Just say, yet you and Yamia some say, just a yet a foot to, just a year dear quantre, free will be all. Now, who make a choice, no, especially so your branch, your baba, you don't think about the future. What many what you know? What you need a basic at home? It's a official. Meposwaya branch ya. Meposwaya babawa. I'm more than a Meposwa Gramia. Patentisa. It's a Mray. Yamay ni Embryan Husso. Say any by a Huswa. We can make amends. You bet me as Nia Fakwan na a boy.
Papa. Comment you cry ho baby out yes in mood da ho papa yada wase ene obre nyame so nhirawo esa bibia ye ball proma wo bie ye na wotimi kyerɛkyerɛ emma afoforo enya wa so dem nko amansa nyina etimi enya so emfa so
that was so for the opportunity
ya chiaso for maame oba pa wata wachi maame doctor
obete
yada se Abusia for Reverend Isaiah Che Atakra. Kwame danso Methodist sofo na yenene edi nkomo.
3p garlic Mr. Pacho ye garlic edru papa ye wo se onya biye nom edura mpacho enkansuo na enkanja nti said your body ball no sa pepepe no ma chinsam mu abefo kwan so na edi mu ahodene no esa nyare wawdo nti bo modene no bi ye edura ye nyare ansa ne anom ne bi mi system bi seboa manipadua no eti apopapa panya ahode ma otimi ye adwumaden de boa Ghana nkanko ene Ghana mpuntuo pacho yare no so abo awurawo mu ayidu abroso stroke edward from atma be ma Johnson tentemo Johnson awo brand ade prostate nsem pacho ubetima nom 3p ebe boa papa oba nso be yo besima ama bibia akoyie be ya tondro bia obenya 3p garlic mix edro ni bia to titru promise eba o pane promise yase wo ba benya 3p edro no dudu bia wo pe na wato anom 0248 928824 0248 928824 so na obefre
abusuafo eha na yede kasebo no esi ene Black Stars gyina kono anti yakwaje commentary no Solomon Carter ene aboafo nkaye ni nyina ewa ha Emmanuel Odro Korea ene Sam Jimmy Cliff producer Edusi Pokuya Dokas omo ewo server room omo som ye sana achi wo ho Sly wo ho Kofi and Joe enso ewo ho nom ebi MC afo so ye da obi ase yantwiwa Philip Ben and Christian midin ede Maame Afia Nyarko papa bi ena menua bema
Wofa Atta Frimpong yadoma sia ma monity ene hwe me name Solomon Carter one edom no to amaso